I wanted to see what the terms of the deal would be once it had been approved. And the reason I'm backing the deal is it marks a real break with the past. It gives us a special status in Europe enjoyed by no other country. It keeps us locked permanently out of political and economic union, out of the euro and the cost of supporting the euro, but keeps us in the free trade area. And I think that's what people want from Europe.
Mr. Whittle, why hasn't that persuaded you to back Britain staying in Europe?
Well, I think that, Adam, even by the standards of David Cameron or indeed Westminster, the statement this morning was one of complete deception. There is no reformed Europe, and one of the reasons for that is that he wasn't even asking for a reformed Europe. The fact is there's been no movement whatsoever on the free movement of people in Europe, which is in fact one of the main concerns for most people. On all fundamental points there's been absolutely no change, and the fact is that this has just been tinkering around at the edges. It was that a few months ago and it's remained that, and I think that the British people will absolutely see through this for what it is. This is total fakery, and I think that, you know, as I said, by the standards even of Westminster, it's a very deceptive and deceitful statement.
Mr. Collins, total deception, tinkering, fakery. What do you say to that?
Well, I think it's a nonsense position to take. I mean, you can hold whatever view you have on the renegotiation, but it gives us substantial differences. If you take, for example, the repatriation of powers over the regulation of the City of London, one of the most important drivers of our economy, that brings back powers that were signed away at Maastricht and when the single market was created. It gives us a substantial difference. On in-work benefits to people coming from Europe to work in the UK, those could be restricted until 2028. I mean, these are very substantial changes to the day-to-day reality of our membership of the European Union. But the key thing is the future and looking forward. You know, we want our economy to be strong. Having a free trading relationship with Europe is important to that. Expanding the single market for services, you know, making it more competitive. These are things that are in our national interest. And we have to make a decision. Do we go with that, stay in a reformed Europe with our new special status, or do we take a leap into the unknown, which is full of risk, and no one on the other side can really explain what that might look like?
Sorry, can I say, in other words, this is just...
Carry on, please.
This is just scaremongering. When you talk about a leap into the dark, a leap into the unknown, this is pure scaremongering. I mean,
it's not scaremongering. I mean, I've said a lot of positive reasons for the change, but it would be a disservice to people not to say there aren't risks with doing something completely different, particularly when you can't explain what being out would be like.
Of course you could. I mean, why would we shackle ourselves to a political union? There is no other political union like this in the world. Why would we shackle ourselves to a union which is actually declining and has been historically declining for so long? And more importantly, the point is that these are about much more basic things. The majority of people in this country want to make our own laws. Sometimes something like 70% of our laws are made by Brussels now, and that is a fact. We did not sign up for the United States of Europe, a federal Europe, and by staying in under these terms, that is exactly what we would be.
Well, I mean, Mr. Whittle has said that. Yes, Mr. Whittle has said that why would we shackle into a political union? Well, we're not. We're expressly exempt from that. The Prime Minister's deal said we would not be part of future political integration or further economic integration. Britain would stand separate from that. That's what our special status gives us. In terms of the future, people have been saying, well, would we join now? Is Europe part of the future? I think it's interesting to looking at some of the most future-minded sectors of our economy, particularly the tech sector. There was a recent survey by Tech UK of the 850 tech companies they represent. Over 70% felt that we should stay in, and over three-quarters felt that we would have more influence in the world if we were part of the EU. And these are firms at the cutting edge of our new economy.
Well, in that case, why is it that the former chairman of Google actually said that the EU and the regulation that comes out of the EU damages small tech businesses? Why would he say that?
Well, I mean, I'm just giving you a survey of tech companies themselves by one of their trade bodies.
One of the main people said. This is nothing. This deal is nothing, and people will see through it. And it's great that they've actually. We obviously had to, you know, drag David Cameron into having this referendum. He set his face against it, and it's only because of my party that we've actually managed to to drag him kicking and screaming to actually have it. And I think that it is a great opportunity for the majority of people to show what they really think of the issues, which is about control of our borders and the fact that we make our own laws as a sovereign, independent country.
Gentlemen, this debate will run and run. Thank you both very much indeed for joining.
You didn't frankly have the balls to put country before party.